Again, welcome everyone to this video. This is the webinar. This is the first webinar that I have done and will be doing hopefully on a monthly basis, but basically giving a general overview of PDS Trader Online. So today I'm not going to be going over specific strategies. I'm not going to be going through each of the strategies. Rather, I'm going to go through and make sure that all of the features, that you have a very good understanding of the features that are available, the benefits, the processes that are here. And every week we are adding things to PDS Trader Online. So there are, for example, over the next 30 days, there will probably be some significant changes, not changes, but additions to what you can do. There might be some additions to strategies, et cetera, et cetera. So I am going to try and host a webinar on this about once every month. It's not going to be the same every month. I'm going to go through general stuff and then highlight certain changes and different aspects that have been added to PDS Trader Online during that time. Now, this webinar is being recorded, so tomorrow you will have a tab on when you log in to PDS Trader Online. There will be a tab. It's not there yet, but it will be there tomorrow, and it will be labeled Resources. So just up on the menu tab or on the menu line, it'll be Resources, and when you click on that tab, it will contain the recording of this webinar. So you will have a recording of the webinar that you can come back to at any time that you want. And further webinars that we do will also be available through the resources. Now, any of these are not available outside of subscribing or subscription. So it's only, this tab is only going to be available when you log in, which obviously makes it to where it's only accessible with subscribers. And there are other videos that will be posted on that resources page as well, such as the time warp videos and whatnot. So with that said, let's go ahead and begin with PDS Trader. When you log in, obviously you come to a page where the system strategies are listed. Now, if you're absolutely brand new, then you're not going to have any custom strategies in there. So there are two sections. One is for custom strategies, one is for system strategies. And system strategies are PDS Trader System. Our strategies that we've created and made available to you, and they automatically come available on PDS Trader Online. And you can see the list here. And that list, what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and be as organized as we can when we add these. We're going to clean this up a little bit moving forward, and then as we add, we're going to try and be as consistent and organized as we possibly can. Obviously, if you have not already figured out, this is a ridiculously powerful online platform for creating virtually any strategy that you can think of. So literally, I mean, we can make this a really, really long list of systems. Now, obviously, if you've been a subscriber to PDS Trader Online for any length of time, you've probably played with creating a custom strategy, and you can, so I'll scroll up and you can see that I play with PDS Trader Online quite a bit with custom strategies. And some of these I'm just playing around with. I've got an idea and I just play around with it. I see what's available. I'll tell you what, it's a tremendous, not only just trading tool, but learning tool to just see what kind of opportunities are out there. So I would encourage you to use it as a learning tool to play around with and let your imagination go with some of these strategies and building the strategies. I promise you it will increase your understanding of option, and especially weekly option trading as well. Now, as we begin, there are a lot of strategies listed in the system strategies. So the first thing that I'm going to tell everyone is that the purpose of these are not so that you'll trade every single strategy. Obviously, that's impossible for any of us to do. I can't do it. So we make it available so that you can have the opportunity to basically figure out which direction you want to go with your trading. Okay, now there are, if we were to do a poll, most everyone here will focus on some sort of time warp strategy or my 27% strategy or some variation of that. Most of you here will participate in trading, one of those strategies, and some of you may also focus on, or in addition to, trade PDS covered calls, or you may look at the value buys and value buy for the calls and value buy for the puts. If I scroll down here with those, some of you may look at vertical credits, some of you may look at, again, the covered calls. So the purpose is not for you to trade everything, but the purpose is for you to have access to everything so that you can make an informed decision on what you want to focus on. But let me assure you, you will need to focus on a few strategies. You can play around with the others, maybe very, very small, but I would be very, very cautious in switching strategies every week. So, this is certainly a lot of information, certainly a lot of available strategies to you, but if you want to be successful in trading, you're going to need to focus on a few strategies and be consistent in executing them. Okay, so again, it's great for learning everything else and maybe even improving on some of the strategies, or at some point you may very well may switch strategies later on, but I wouldn't switch every week. I'd focus on a few, move forward, continue learning, continue maybe increasing the efficiency of what you're doing or what you want to do, and then be very slow to switch. Be very, how should I say it? What's the word? Deliberate. Be very deliberate in how you approach the actual trading, okay, with this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through this home page real quick, go through, all of the features that are available, what we're going to be doing with these, and then just going through the process. All right, so first thing is strategy name. Now, you'll notice an arrow here beside each strategy, and I'm going to go ahead and focus on time warp bearish, and because we're going to take a look at time warp bearish. But you can see there's an arrow beside here. Now, this is not fully functional, but eventually we will have it to where you can see the strategy without having to click on edit in this space. So that kind of gives you an idea of where we're going. It makes it far better, far more efficient to access what the strategy is. Right now, it's just showing a sell one call and buy one call, and we'll include the details at some point. That'll be an additional feature that you'll see, but that's what that's for. So we've already put the functionality in there to access that. So once we fill that information in there, we'll get there. Then you'll notice that we have a little I over here. It's just basically for information. We're going to be, there's a lot of different strategies here. We're going to be trying to provide basic information in this, mainly just as a quick reference. It's not supposed to explain the entire logic of the strategy or anything. It's just kind of a quick reference because, right now I have about 20 variations of time warp, and I don't remember for the life of me, 3 days after I've created 3 or 4 different variations, what it is that I was creating, and so this helps keep track. So I look at the information, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I was doing with that variation. right? So you can create information in the when you build the strategy, you can create that information right there. And then, of course, we have the date and the edit date and the creation date and the number of legs. So that's just some information about there. We may, we'll see whether we add information. We can add columns, obviously, and what kind of information we'll add. This is still obviously a work in progress that we are looking at with regard to making feature changes. Then you'll also notice that in the coming weeks, there's going to be a population of videos. And this little video icon here is basically a video of this strategy. Now, the purpose of this, I don't think, is going to be to add the full video for each one of these. So this one, for example, is like an hour long. The longer videos are going to be in the Resources tab. And then what we'll do is we will simply have maybe 10, 15-minute overview videos of these in this section. So you will click that and watch the video. So these will be filling in over the coming weeks and months as we add strategies and kind of reorganize how we use all of this information. Okay. Now, let's get to what we're really looking at. First of all, here's the favorite and unfavorite. We'll utilize that at a later time. I'll explain how that's going to be utilized later. It's really not a functional, functional from our intention of what we're going to be doing with that later on. So that's really not something you need to pay attention to right now. Edit strategy, obviously. You open the strategy and you can edit all of the conditions by clicking on the edit strategy and then duplicate this strategy. So if you don't want to start from scratch, if you just want to have a slight variation, let's say you have an idea of how to change the time warp bearish so slightly, but you don't want to recreate everything, you just simply click on duplicate this strategy and it will duplicate it and it will rename the strategy as copy. And then you rename it and you can make your changes or whatnot. And then there is the view the opportunities for the strategy, which is a little eyeball there. So this is ultimately what we're wanting to use PDS Trader for, is to view opportunities, right? So we're going to go ahead and start with that and view the opportunities. So this is bearish, time warp bearish, and this is only in SPY. And of course, I can have this in all stocks. I can limit the number of stocks. I can limit for all ETFs. I can limit the number of ETFs. I can do whatever I want with limiting or having unlimited number of stocks that it looks at to provide opportunities. So this particular variation of time warp bearish is only looking at SPY, and it's giving the bearish opportunity for both the current week and the following week, and you can be as customized. That's all custom from the edit section as well. I can go as many expirations as I want in the future, or I can limit it to a couple or three. But this one is providing the next two expirations, and of course the 7/2 is tomorrow, so that's really not one that is recommended in necessarily placing with just 1 day left, but we keep the strategies up there anyway, or we keep the tabs up there anyway, I should say. Okay, so I'm going to click on a different tab. I'm going to click on the 710 tab, and it will list this the opportunities. Now, the great thing about the way that this works, the way that the opportunities are listed, is that you can click on them and whichever ones you're interested in, and then display the rest of the data. So if I were interested in placing on a time warp bearish trade, which is basically a trade which makes the most money when the market moves down after you place it. That's essentially what it is. Now, this actually does make money if the market goes nowhere, and it makes pretty good money if the market goes nowhere. But the biggest profit potential of this trade is if the market moves down, hence time warp bearish. So it then provides the details, and if we were to want to place this on, we would sell a 7:10 expiration 206 strike call, and we would buy a 7:17 expiration 209 strike call. And then it lists the bid ask here, and of course the entry cost is in the first column. So that would be for a negative 123. Now, generally, as a general rule, when I'm placing a bearish trade, I want to get at least $1.25 to $1.35 minimum. Now, there are times where I can get $1.50, $1.60. Right now is not one of them. Volatility is a little bit higher, so can't get quite that credit on there. So you have to take into consideration, okay, it's a little bit more volatile. I can't bring in the absolute minimum credit that I normally get, so do I still go ahead and take the trade? Because with volatility, if the market moves down, you're going to make at least the credit on the trade. So, so this is a normal time warp variation, right? So this is the process that I go through when I'm determining whether to take the trade. Is I just look at everything, look at the entry cost, and it either meets my minimums or it doesn't. And if it does, then I'll go and place the trade. If it doesn't, then I may take a look again tomorrow or whatnot. So these columns are already set, and they are you can well, we'll get to the column section in a minute. Nonetheless, you'll notice it has a bid ask and then the extrinsic value. And this is one of my favorite columns. I focus on the extrinsic value in almost every strategy that I build in PDS Trader Online. So extrinsic value is incredibly important, especially the difference between the two legs. And you probably know that from some of my other videos. And that pretty much sums it up for the opportunities. Now, I'll throw on another opportunity list here so you can see the number of opportunities that exist in some of the other strategies. But you can sort by any column, just simply by clicking on that column, and it will sort by that column. In the future, and by the way, I know many of you have ideas and suggestions and whatnot. We absolutely encourage you to give us those suggestions and ideas. We've probably thought of most of them. Don't assume that we have. Go ahead and give them to us. But believe me, we have a very long list of things that we are looking forward to adding and are in the process of adding. One of those is, of course, filters, so that once you create the strategy, if there's just too many opportunities based on the strategy conditions that you used, then you'll be able to filter those through various means as well. That's coming down the line. Can't do that just yet. Okay, so we'll go back to strategies, and let's say I want to edit a strategy. So what I'll do here is we'll just go to bearish, and I'll click on edit. So time warp bearish, I click on edit. What happens is it brings up the builder page, the strategy builder page. Now this is really where the power of this tool lies, and we will continually be adding the capabilities of this, but there's almost nothing that you can't create from this. Most strategies that you can think of can be created with the conditions that exist right now. There are some outliers that you can't create just yet, obviously, but we will continually add to this section as well. So you'll see the strategy on the right and the conditions on the left. And what you can do is, if you want to add or edit or take away if you want to add, you just go to the section that you want to add, and it'll list, and then you click on the plus button. But if you want to take away, you click on the leg, and then it comes up with all of the active conditions in that leg, and you can click on the minus button, and it will remove any of those from there. Or if you want to edit, so SPY is or symbol is SPY, for example. That's one condition. If I want to edit that, let's say I want to add IWM, then I go comma IWM. Or let's say I want to add as well QQQ, so I'll go QQQ. And now, just by that, I have increased the signals that it will provide to IWM and QQQ signals. Okay, so that's the edit that I'm going to make. That's the only thing that I have to do in order to add that stuff to it. I save changes, and then it now gives me QQQ, IWM, and SPY opportunities in this strategy. So you can see here QQQ, for example, as a $1.50. That's really good. That's a really good one. And then the SPY and then the IWM also has some good opportunities. So that was easy. That's fast. It's easy. That's what it's meant to be. That's what we wanted it to be. But I'm going to go ahead and go back to edit just to go through some of these conditions. So you have the title up here on the left, and if you want to change the title, you just click on it, and then you can change the title. And I'm not going to change it because it's a system strategy. But when you click on edit, it will automatically put the edited version in your custom strategy. So you cannot change the system variation. So if you try and edit, any changes that you make will rename it and put it into your custom strategies, not the system strategies, so that you cannot screw up the system strategies. Even if you wanted to, that's the way we created it. Nonetheless, the title is up here. You can just add in the title or change the title if you want, however you want to do it. The conditions are very straightforward and should be obvious for the most part. Expiration is one expiration away. Okay, that's always going to be the upcoming expiration. That'll be tomorrow. This is so this expiration right now would be tomorrow. So if I added that in here, it would use only tomorrow's expiration. Expiration is within 1 and 6 expirations away. For example, I can change that. Anytime I want to change any of these, I just click on the box. I can change that to 2 or 3. So I can look at expirations. Expiration is within 3 and 6 expirations away, so that will limit which expirations it's looking for. I can say is not, is or is not if I want. So all of this, you can do that with any condition in any of these sections. Anything that can be changed has a drop-down box and allows you to change it from within the condition group itself. So very, very powerful. There are lists of several conditions there. Let's see, expiration is greater than 5 days away, so you can say greater than or less than. So greater than 5 days away. I have here expiration is less than 12 days away. For the short call, if you look over here in leg 1, sell 1 call, symbol is SPY, IWM, QQQ, expiration is less than 12 days away. So what does that do? Well, that basically says that my sell option, it's going to give me opportunities where my sell option expiration is the next expiration and the expiration following that. So when I clicked on opportunities, you saw that it was a 7-2 tab and a 7-10 tab. And that's because of that right there. If I increase that, expiration is less than, let's say, 19 days away, then it's going to give me the next 3 weekly option expirations where I'm selling that call. So 7.2, 7.10, and 7.17 if I were to change this to, let's say, 19. Okay, so anything that will give me the next 3 expirations. And then it will give me opportunities for all upcoming 3 expirations where I'm selling this particular call based on that expiration. All right, so this one is less than 12 days away. And then moving down, you can do day of week, you can do day of month, you can do option type as monthly or weekly. The monthly, I'm not sure that the monthlies are in yet. I believe we only have weekly right now. I could be wrong about that. I don't know if they've been able to add that yet or not, but that will be coming if they have not. Let's see, expiration is in relation to another leg. Okay, so this is just a condition here. Expiration is one expiration after, let's say, leg 1 expiration. All right, so if I go to leg 2, and I'll click on leg 2, you can see that the active conditions here, one of them is expiration is one expiration after leg 1 expiration. So that means that if my short expiration is on 7.2, my long expiration is going to be on 7.10. If my sell expiration is on 7.10, then my long expiration is going to be on 7.17. So it maintains that relationship. It's a very powerful condition. I use it all the time. It's probably the most commonly used expiration condition for legs 2, 3, or 4 in the expiration section. All right. So that gives you an idea what the time conditions are. And then with strike, I can be very specific with what kind of strike, or I can be very broad. So it gives me multiple strikes or strikes within a range. And of course, we have the relationship strike. If we're in leg 1, there is no relationship. But if we're in leg 2, we can go strike is greater than leg 1 strike. And that's a very general condition that we can use. Strike price is, and then of course all of these are changeable, 1 point greater than leg 1 strike. All right, so you can do 0.5 points or 1 point or 1.5 points. You can do however you want to be specific with that. You can do in between points or in between percent, again based on leg 1 or leg 2 or leg 3, depending on which leg you're at. Then we have it divided from at the money strikes to in the money strikes to out of the money strikes. So this is one of my favorite ones, is closest to at the money. So if it's within 25 points on either side of a strike, that's going to be closest to at the money. And it's going to use that one. So whether in the money or out of the money, if it's closest, whichever strike it's closest to, that is the closest to at the money based on the underlying stock or ETF. Absolutely one of my favorites because I sell at the money. More than anything, I sell at the money. However, with the bearish, I actually have, you'll notice, strike is between 1 and 2 points in the money. 1 and 2 points in the money. And because this is a call, that means that the strike is going to be, or this is basically a bearish opportunity, meaning that if the market moves down, this in the money call becomes out of the money. Therefore, the entire value of that option becomes extrinsic value, and that's what we're ultimately wanting to do with these bullish or bearish variations. So, for example, I implemented a time warp bullish trade today, actually yesterday, a time warp bullish trade yesterday. And if you've been around my stuff for very long, you know that I have been talking about the first calendar day of the month for eons, and how the first calendar day of the month is generally higher, has a very high probability of being higher, and especially when it is following a significant move to the downside, which did occur on Monday and Tuesday. So couple those things together, and I'm I was fairly bullish going into today, and I was fairly bullish going into today, long before they were trying to attribute today's move to the talks in Greece. It's something that I have been doing for a long time and just knew it was high probability. So what I did was I initiated a bullish trade, and a bullish time warp trade is exactly the opposite of a bearish trade where I use in-the-money puts. So my sell leg is an in-the-money put, and exactly the same relationship as the calls, only it's in puts. So I sell the in-the-money put, I buy the out-of-the-money put. If the market moves up, my in-the-money put becomes out of the money or at the money, and expires worth, so the entire value becomes mine. That is a bullish put. So I can create that doing this, and just simply by changing all these to puts if I wanted to. Okay, so that's one example of using in the money. And then, of course, the option value. You can be very specific with option value. Why would you want to be specific with option value? There are a lot of times where you'll create a strategy and it will be kind of mucked up. You'll see a lot of murky waters there, if you will, with a bunch of opportunities that just aren't even remotely close to what you're looking for in the first place. So in this example, if you create the short sell, for example, as a premium of greater than, let's say, 30 points, I can go 0.3, or I can be whatever. I can be as specific as I want. And then if I do that, then what will happen is this almost acts like a filter. So all of these other opportunities that are just irrelevant are now gone because I've used the option, an option value condition to help me filter through those. All right. But nonetheless, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can do premium is greater than, and you can do premium is less than, between various levels, points. You can do percentages based on the percentage of that price of the stock, which I do use this when I'm looking for high-priced options, is I will look for options that are greater than a certain percent of the current stock price. So, for example, in my covered calls, I look for options that are at least 3% of the current stock. Okay, so that I can filter, if you will, by this condition being applied to it. Then there are several others. It's fairly straightforward and logical once you start to think about it, of what these are doing, and obviously very powerful from the standpoint of what you're able to create from a custom point of view. Then the next section is stock value. Stock price is, so if I only want to look at stocks that are priced greater than $50, which is a type of filter, then I will simply add that to either leg. You can add the stock value conditions to either leg, and it will automatically apply to both. So stock price is greater than 50. I can add that, or I can change it to 100 or 150 or less than 10 or whatever it is that I'm looking for. Then I can do stock prices between certain levels, or stock prices between 10 and 20% of the leg of the strike. And then, of course, my symbol is, and then I list whatever symbol I want to use. Now, if I don't have this symbol condition in either leg, then it's automatically going to look at all opportunities based on all stocks, all ETFs. Okay, so I can use this again to basically essentially filter what I'm looking for. So I can click on SPY, and then I can do QQQ, I can do IWM, I can do what's another one? I can do, if I am only looking for these and Apple, I can do that. All right, so I can do any of those and all of those. Now, in the future, we will be creating stock lists or pre-built lists that you can just dump in there or choose which list you want to buy. So all ETFs or all stock index ETFs or all non-stock indexing ETFs. You basically create your own custom symbol groups that you'll be able to apply to this without retyping the symbols every time you want to get in there. So that's something that's coming in down the future as well. Okay, so that's the power of the custom strategy. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this and I'm going to create a hedge for the time warp bearish. A hedge for the time warp bearish. So, and then we'll get into the edit columns section. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go cancel. It'll take me back to the strategies. I'm going to drop down here and I'm going to look at the time warp bearish, and I'm going to say duplicate. Okay, I want to say duplicate. So I click on duplicate. As you can see, it duplicates the strategy. Boom. Retitles it time warp dash bearish copy. Okay. If I want to change that, I say hedged. Now, it's automatically going to put it in my custom section. Now, I can put any strategy I want into the system section, but you cannot. You can only put ones that you create into the custom section. So I just titled this time warp bearish hedged. So what am I wanting to do with time warp bearish hedged? Well, if you're familiar with my 1-2 punch strategy, there's a hedge in there, and the hedge is just simply a calendar spread. And it's a calendar spread based on the strike of the long leg. Strike of the long leg. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to add a calendar spread to this strategy and create a type of time warp bearish hedged. All right, so the first thing I do is I change the name to whatever it is that I want to name it, and then I add a leg. Okay, just click on add leg. It's now going to add a leg. Now it's automatically going to be buy one call, always. If you want to change that, then you can come over here and you can go buy or sell. You can change it to as many as you want. So you can create a weighted opportunity by dictating a certain numbers, or you can go call or put, right? So you can go call or put. So here's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to create a calendar spread, which is essentially buying a further away expiration and selling a nearby expiration of the strike that is equal to the long call strike. All right. Now, this strike is 3 points greater than leg 1 strike. Leg 1 strike is between 1 and 2 points in the money. So I want to keep that relationship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a relationship expiration condition. So buy one call expiration is going to be equal to, I just scroll down here, is equal to leg 2 expiration. Boom. All right. So I'm going to buy a call that is equal to leg 2 expiration. Then I go to my strike section. And my strike is also going to be equal to leg 2 expiration. So I'm going to, the strike is equal to leg 2 expiration. Okay, and click on add. And there, that's the first leg of my calendar spread. The second leg of my calendar spread, I hit add new leg, and I'm going to sell a call, And this leg is going to be equal, I'm going to sell the call that is equal to my short leg. All right, so which is up here, leg 1. So I'm going to go with expiration is equal to leg 1 expiration. And then my strike is going to be equal to leg 2 strike and leg 3 strike. It's going to be equal to my long leg on this. That's what creates the calendar spread. Okay. So I go scroll down again. Oops. Is it up? Yeah. So strike is equal to, I can say equal to leg 2 strike, or excuse me, leg 2 strike or leg 3 strike, because those are both the same. So I'm going to go click on that. I've just created a calendar spread to add to my time warp bearish, and I hit Save Changes. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've created a strategy and ended up doing something wrong, right? Because there's some conditions in there, and I may have put buy call when I meant sell a call, or buy a put when I meant buy a call, or whatever the case is. So the great thing is you get instant feedback, right? You get instant feedback, and you end up knowing whether you messed up or not. So you can click on this. What I was wanting to do is create a let's do that. Create a calendar spread with, a time warp bearish with a hedge. Okay. So here I can double check everything. I can say, okay, leg 1, I want to sell a call 710, and then leg 2, I buy a call 717. That is my bearish, and then here is my here's my calendar spread. Okay, buy 1 call, sell 1 call, and create the calendar spread both at the 109 calls. Now, I did this the slow way. You can actually do this in 3 legs, but I wanted to show you the process, so I did it in all 4 legs. But because it's a call spread, you can actually do this in 3 legs. You'll notice here that we are buying a 717-109 call and buying another 717-109 call. So what I could do is I could go back to Edit Strategies, and I could delete one of these legs and increase the quantity on the other leg to a 2, and I've created the same thing. I'm not going to do that because I'll let you just absorb that, because that is just demonstration of the power of this. In other words, there are many, many ways to usually get to the same thing. But nonetheless, everything here is correct, and I double-checked everything here, make sure it's correct. And so it looks good. This is actually a really, really good opportunity right here with this hedged value. Now, I'm not going to go through what the hedge is and all that good stuff, but it's in many of the other videos. The 1-2 punch video to be specific. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to Edit, and now we're going to talk about editing columns, and this will be the last section of this webinar. Okay. Now, this is probably one of the harder parts to begin with to understand, but once you understand it, believe you me, it is incredibly useful. Incredibly useful. It is because it really allows you to tailor looking at only the information you want to look at, or creating the information that you want to create. And so it's very, very powerful. So when I create on Edit Columns, the first set of columns is what is called the example trade, the available columns, the example trade, and then the output columns. All right, so the output is the first thing that you see when you click on opportunities. Okay, so it's standard. These are the ones that you'll see when you click on opportunities. When you click on an opportunity that you want to see, then this is what comes down, and you have the ability to edit either or of these sections. So the example trade is the one that has more details, and you can take out some of these columns, or you can add some columns in there. And then the example output is the second section. And this is just the one that you see when you first view opportunities. Now, if you ever want to sort by anything, then you want to put it in the example output column. All right? So you can sort by that column and sort all opportunities by that column. And I can do anything I want almost with this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to quickly go through a process of creating a column. And what I want to do is I want to know what my hedge cost is. I want to know what my hedge cost is. In other words, what is the cost of my calendar spread that I just created? So I want to know that, and I want to know it in the example output. So I'm going to say, click on title. I'm going to go hedge cost. So I just created title. Now with the formula, this works a little bit like Excel, only you don't have to put equal. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, and I can do this on paper, or I can do it in my head. Most of the time I end up doing it in my head and then just doing, going through the process as I create it. So what is the cost of my calendar spread? Well, it's basically leg 3 and leg 4, right? Leg 3 and leg 4 is my calendar spread. That's what I just created. And so the cost of my calendar spread is going to be my buy leg minus my sell leg. My buy leg minus my sell leg. So in this one it would be leg 3, and since I'm buying the ask, so I just type in leg 3 ask. Okay, that's all I did. So what I did was I told this to reference leg 3 ask, which is 64. Leg 3 ask, which is 6.64. Notice the result. It shows me that I typed in the right thing, all right, by giving me the value. So result is down here. Leg 3 ask is 64, all right? Now, what is the cost? It's minus leg 4 bid, because that's the one I sell. So I buy the ask, I sell the bid. So my entry cost is my leg 3 ask minus my leg 4 bid. So it's 64 minus 2 cents. And the reason it's 2 cents is because the example trade is a 7-10-7-2. But it's only used for example purposes, so this does not mean it's a relevant trade that you're going to want to take. It's just one of the example trades in there that it lists in there. Nonetheless, you can see the output. So you should know, and you should be able to tell whether you have put in the right formula or not based on going through the process yourself and knowing whether that's the output. And if it is, great. You'll click on Save, and which it is, by the way, or actually you'll click on Add to Active, and now it lists my hedge cost in my example column assignment output. And if I don't want to use it, I click on the red button. So price per day is not relevant for what I want to do, so I'm actually going to replace the price per day with my hedge cost. And then I hit Update Strategy and View Opportunities, and boom, I just created a column, a unique column for hedge cost, and then I can sort by that column, greatest hedge cost to smallest hedge cost, right? So here I've created a couple of QQQ opportunities are listed here. One is for $1.06 and one is for $1.20 of credit. And on both of those, the hedge cost is about the same. And because of that, this hedge cost tells me that this is the one I want to take. Out of all these opportunities, this is the best one because I get the biggest credit with the smallest hedge. And this credit, the entry cost, is including this hedge, by the way. The entry cost is including the hedge. So I implement that. I can sort. I go through the process, and now, boom! You're now looking at a very solid opportunity in QQQ. And if you want to place this now, you can place it now, and it absolutely would be a valid opportunity. So if SPY goes to 109 on 710, or SPY, QQQ, if QQQ goes to 109 on 710, then this hedge should increase to about $1, which means you will have made 70 cents on the hedge, and which diminishes your loss, is essentially what it does. But right here from start to finish, what we just did is we created, or we edited and added to a strategy, basically creating our own variation of the time warp bearish hedge. We added stocks or symbols, and we added a calendar spread to the bearish. And based on everything that I just showed you, you should be able to do almost anything you want to do with PDS Trader, just based on the examples that I have given you. Okay? So I hope that this was helpful in demonstrating the power. And by the way, you can be on, I'm just going to go back to edit. Strategy, and then I'm going to hit edit columns again. I want to touch base on this just one more time. You can be as complex or simplistic as you want to be with this column. So I'm going to say example 2. And if I wanted to create some sort of ratio to show me what my bid ask was, or excuse me, what my risk was, or if I wanted to create some sort of scenario where I'm looking only at, for example, extrinsic value, differences in extrinsic value, I could go leg 1 or leg 2 or leg 3 or leg 4, whatever it is I want. Where I start with is the leg. I wanted to make sure that you understand that the first thing that we're doing is we're telling it to reference a certain leg. And then any of this information is essentially accessible by typing what it is. So leg 1 extrinsic value. Okay, leg 1 extrinsic value. Now in this example trade, there is no extrinsic value in leg 1, but I typed in leg 1 extrinsic value and no spaces, and it gives me the exact output of that. Or if I want to change that to leg 2 extrinsic value, I change that to leg 2 extrinsic value. It now gives me leg 2 extrinsic value. So the process is leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, or leg 4, no spaces, and then which column you want to reference. No column, no spaces, excuse me. And then you just go from there. If I want to go leg 2 extrinsic value divided by leg 1 extrinsic value, then I type that in there. Of course, you can't divide it by 0, so it's going to give me it's not going to give me an output. But if there's any extrinsic value, it would give me an output in there. Okay, but that's the process. If you can reference, so let's say I want to go with leg 1 strike minus, and then parentheses, leg 1 extrinsic value divided by leg 2 extrinsic value in close parentheses, then I could do that. And it will have an output in there. So again, it's almost limitless in what you can do. I have a couple of columns in there that take up about 2 rows, just because it's got all these references that it's referring to. Okay? All right. that does it for this webinar. What I'm going to do is take some time, go through some questions if you have any. I appreciate it. I can already see a lot of great comments. Appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So I'm just going to start reading some of these questions, and then I'll scroll down. I know some of these questions I've already answered. Which strategies do you recommend for 10K and which for 100K accounts? You know, that's a loaded question. The key is to start small and use compounding. So with any of the strategies where you have limited risks, which are most of them in this, you know, you can obviously limit your risks to one. So there really is no recommendation for a small account on which strategies. I have some clients who focus on trading bearish, and all they do is trade bearish. If they have a smaller account, they trade a 1 lot or a 2 lot or a 3 lot or a 4 lot or whatever it is that they're willing to risk. You know, some focus on aggressive, some focus on 1-2 punch. It just really doesn't matter. The key, though, is for you to be consistent and not over-trade. You trade whatever size to begin with that you can trade that will help you be consistent, okay? And if you have further questions on account size, shoot me an email, and I can be more specific. All right, let's see. Is the current PDS Trader software now obsolete? I'm not going to say it's obsolete because there are still some things you can do with the old PDS Trader software that you can't do with PDS Trader Online, but there's so much more you can do with PDS Trader Online right now. I haven't used the software since we put PDS Trader online. So, yes, Piero, you should have access. If you cannot log in, contact support. They'll help you out there. That's a good question, David. Do you have a recommended plan to follow? I do not, because everyone is different. However, I do have a mentoring program, and if you're interested in a mentoring program to where we create your specific trading plan, contact me, Ryan@quantumcharts.com. Ryan@quantumcharts.com if you're interested in that. Let's see, you stick with the 27% weekly. You need to watch the other videos and learn them. Yeah, it's fine that you stick with the 27% weekly. It's always great to add to the learning, add to your understanding of what's available. You might make some modifications, add some diversification, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Let's see. So, for example, if we click on my 27% SPY, it's supposed to show few current potential trades available for that strategy. That is correct. If you click on a my 27% for stocks, then it's going to show a bunch of stock opportunities for that same type of strategy. So, yeah, that's the whole purpose of this, is to show you the existing opportunities based on any given strategy. Okay. Let's see. This has been a wonderful tool. Staff has done an excellent job, excellent advice. Focus on a few. You could literally drown in the number of potential opportunities. Yes, you can literally drown in the number of opportunities. I would focus on one to begin with. If you're completely beginner, I would focus on one to begin with. Trade small and then continue the learning process. Again, this tool is a tremendous learning tool as much as it is a signal provider. Okay. Let's see. This is really a marketing issue. You may want to consider highlighting, indicating which of the strategies you offer. Signals through other subscriptions. None. None. Daniel, I don't offer. We are not currently offering any, on an active basis, any of the strategies that are on PDS Trader Online as signals officially. I do have them available, but PDS Trader Online essentially is replacing those signals. Let's see. If you already subscribe to those signals, they are continuing for as long as they are needed. But our focus is PDS Trader Online. That's what we encourage you to pay attention to focus on. Okay. John, please add a minimum ATR filter. We are in the process of adding a bunch of stuff like that. Okay. Can you give any written explanation of column headings and how to use them? Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent question. Thank you, Ken. Let me go here. I'm going to go to, let's see, cancel. Let's go view. I'm going to view the time warp bearish. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to view the time warp bearish hedge. All right. What we ultimately will have is a information on, well, oh, it's already there. So we have the exact formula of each hedge, or excuse me, of each column. We will have an information for written, so this is giving us the ratio of the extrinsic value between legs 1 and 2, for example. You'll have the ability to do that and create that information piece so you can quickly reference what that information is on that as well. All right, so we are coming down the road with that. All right, let me see. I lost my place here in the questions. Hang on. All right. What is the main difference between 27% versus time warp trades? It's an excellent question, Paul. There is very little difference. The 27% is using in-the-money puts, but it achieves the exact same thing as the out-of-the-money calls used in time warp. The difference is that you can sometimes get a better price with the puts than you can with the calls, and sometimes you get a better price with the calls than the puts. Okay, so that's an excellent question. If that was over your head, don't even worry about it right now. It's not that important. The more you understand the strategies, the more that will become evident to you. Okay. Let's see. Can you make it less than 12 days and greater than 4 days away? Yes, Deb, you most certainly can. You can do, in fact, I have a strategy that I do exactly that with. Okay. Oh, good, you saw it. Sorry, I didn't see the second part of that question. Let's see. Important filters to add. John, we have all sorts of filters that we'll be adding in the future. All right. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate it. Is it possible to do PPD? Yes. It is already in there. Price per day is already in there. It's the standard column. I replaced hedge cost with PPD. Let me go back to strategies. Let's go with the buy. Let's go with sell. Let's go with covered call puts. Let's look at the opportunities with covered call puts. And there's a lot there. But what you're going to see is, let's go with 710, price per day. It's already in there. And you can sort by price per day. So here's your greatest price per day, 64 cents, for example, price per day. All right. So if you're selling, that's going to be a negative price per day, which is good, and if you're buying, that's going to be a positive price per day. All right. All right. If you let's see. Where can we find the coding terms to use for various items? I hope I explained that already, Ken. If that question was not answered, let me know how it wasn't answered. But I think I answered that question. Okay. We use TOS platform along with Juno. No, Bill. We have no plans on using the TOS platform. We are looking at a couple of platforms, one of them being Interactive Brokers, obviously, and then another one being Trade King. We're looking at e-options and a couple of others. I make no promises on any of those just yet. The whole issue is whether they will give us access or not. So that's what we're working on. That's one of the many things that we're working on right now. Risk graph, yes, we do have plans on adding risk graphs to these, as well as charts, and a couple of other really cool visual aids as well. I have no time frame on those. I want to tell you, believe me, I want to make promises, but I've just learned in the past that sometimes things take longer than they were conveyed to me, and so I just don't want to do that. Just trust me, we are feverishly adding to this, so it's you'll see changes almost on a weekly basis, additions and whatnot. Okay. Will any of my examples today eventually be included in system strategies? Not quite sure what that means. I only used one example in the custom. I created a custom one, and yes, I will put that into the system strategies. In fact, I'll do that while you are here. What did I do? Time warp, bearish, what, hedged? That's what I did. So I will edit that, and I will go ahead and put it in the system for you guys. Save changes, and when y'all log in again, you'll should be able to see it. It is there. Let's see if it's there. There it is. Time warp, bearish, hedged. There you go, Lawrence. How's that? Which strategy was used for the Oracle trade in the email for this webinar? None of the strategies that are in the system just yet. I will be adding that in the near future. I didn't want to add that without a video. In fact, I don't want to add any more without a video. Obviously I had the time warp bearish hedged, but that's because I just went through the whole thing with you. So, this is a huge task on my part to create the videos for these, and I will be doing that. But obviously, it takes a bit of time. But the strategy that was used for that, it will be added to the system. And if you're not familiar with the Oracle trade, don't even worry about it just yet. More information on that stuff will be coming down the road. Okay. This will not trade futures just yet. Okay, so there's no futures yet. Do we want to add that? Yes, we absolutely do, and we will be to some extent in the future. RFP. Yes, we will add RFP to this in the future as well. Let's see. A lot of these are already answered. Thank you. Appreciate the comment. Let's see. Column headings was within the new opportunity screens. Not sure how to use some of them. So the column, okay, so some of the existing columns that we have in the opportunity screens will be included on the videos that we add. That's what essentially we're going to be doing with these videos that will be available in this column here where you see this one loan video. This one will actually be replaced with a shorter video that will give an overview of the strategy and then a quick overview of the columns that are being used, okay, and what those columns are doing and why. Why not TOS? It's not necessarily that we won't use TOS. They're just not in the immediate future. They're not in the immediate plans. So again, it all depends on what kind of access the broker will allow us to have. And believe me, some of them are quite stingy with allowing access. Let's see. Moving forward. Yes, Nicholas, we'll be giving out weekly emails, essentially showing you what we've done to what changes we've made, if we've added new strategies, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, we will keep you informed. Also, I failed to mention there are forums now, and if you just when you log in, if you just look up at the top, let me scroll up here. You can see forums. You can click on forums. Now you will have to register separately, but it is free. So we do have forums available. All right, so absolutely make use of that. We just started that, so the more you contribute to that, the better off it'll be for other traders as well. Yes, I will be adding 1-2 punch strategies very, very soon, probably next week. I appreciate it, Charles. Yes, Ian, we will be adding news events, earnings, dividend information. All of that will be coming in the future as well. Yeah, we're going to have lots more how-to videos. Let's see. It's just so much. I mean, we're able to give you so much. Now we've kind of put ourselves in a hole with the ability to provide videos because it takes so much time to create them and put them in there. And I'm the one that's doing it, so it's me. Yeah, I've worked myself into a hole is what I've done. You're welcome, Nicholas. I appreciate it. Let's see. Any plan for live event during market hours? I assume you mean live trading. Yeah, that's in the future at some point. Appreciate it, Ian. Let's see. It looks like I've got all the questions. I appreciate all the comments. I'm glad that most of you see the power of it. It's always something that we question when we put this out. I know the power of it. I can use it, but do my users are my users able to see the power? Are the other traders able to see the power and able to utilize the power of the tool? And the feedback that we've gotten has just been tremendous, so I appreciate that. All right. How about adding a time warp bullish system? I will do that, Don. I will do that. But Here's my suggestion. Since I told you what a time warp bullish is, it's basically it's a time warp bearish only using puts. I would challenge you to try and do it yourself. It'd be a great. It's not hard. I think you'll find it incredibly easy. Ian, I appreciate it. Thank you. Man. You've already made money. Great. That's exactly what we're here for. Happy 4th to you as well, Pete. Thanks. Don, I tell you what, if you have any problems with that, shoot me an email, and I'll help you out with that. Okay. Excellent, Lawrence. Great. Appreciate it. You bet, Don. All right. Looks like I've got all the questions, and I appreciate y'all attending. Hope you enjoyed it. Next webinar will be towards the beginning of August, first week of August-ish, and we'll go from there. You'll be notified, and I hope to have a bunch more videos added by then, obviously, for your capable of watching those videos from this column. All right. Yes, this is recorded. Again, if you came in late, tomorrow when you log in, instead of the About Us tab, when you log in, that will be replaced by a Resources tab. And you'll click on Resources tab, and you will find this webinar recorded and accessible from that Resources tab starting tomorrow. All right. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and happy 4th of July.